to till or not to till? That seems to be the question of late, and I'm going to address it in this video. I am tilling to establish my beds here at Mother Hubbard's, and there's a reason for that. One, this section of ground hasn't really been used. It has only really produced, we have really sandy soil. I can get up. It's really sandy soil, which is great for drainage. Not so great for holding on to moisture. The other problem with sand or sandy soil is that when the sun comes out, unless you have some kind of mulch barrier down, it gets extremely hot. I mean, you've been to the beach on a sunny day, the sand is extremely hot. Now, I happen to have a decent amount of organic matter, so as soon as the water can penetrate the sand, which sand is kind of hydrophobic, it takes a minute for the water sitting on top to actually penetrate down. The sand is dry. If it's already a little moist, water just flows right on through. I have a decent amount of organic matter in my soil here, and tilling some of these weeds and stuff in is going to add organic matter temporarily. If you don't feed your soil will eat itself. So I don't want to get to the point where I don't have any living organisms in my soil at all, and that would be extremely easy to do in this sand soil. The area where we put the nursery, you got about an inch of sand, and then it is like hard packed clay, which is why we decided to put the nursery where we put it. I could amend that. I could plant some daikon and some other vegetation with some long tap roots and then terminate that to kind of break up that clay. But since I was going to have a nursery anyway, that area with the clay, we just put some black fabric down to block weeds and give people safe places to walk. And that little section is all I had to worry about. The rest of this is just my natural sandy soil. I have found tiny pockets of clay here and there, but just really tiny pockets. I don't know if it had been transferred over the years. I don't know if this was ever plowed. You know, this whole, we have 6 acres here, but there is more that used to belong to this family, and it was all a produce farm decades ago. They retired in the 80s. So there has been in the past a lot of tillage. They used to add a lot of lime. This soil in particular, I get a lot of blossom end rot on tomatoes if I don't add CalMag. And I'm not big on buying in amendments. I like to just use compost, and when I pull weeds, I lay them right down on the ground. It's kind of chop and drop, but it's pull and drop to act as a mulch, to feed the organisms, and to give some shade and cover to the sand so that it doesn't get quite so hot on the plants. And it's worked out. I mean, my dahlias are very happy. I need to get these beds finished, my final succession in the ground, and then get back to weeding, because as we've tilled, we've brought up, I had areas where I wasn't having any problems with weeds at all. But as we've tilled, we've stirred up some weed seeds and it's gone bonkers. So I know this, at the first few years, we're going to have a lot of weed pressure, and that's okay. But as I get my beds established, get the soil healthy, I'll have less and less weed pressure. So whether or not you till or dig is completely up to you. I do not find doing an initial tilling to establish a bed to be that detrimental. The soil seems to recover well over time. Now, I don't want to keep tilling. I don't want to chop up worms and disturb the soil biology very much at all. But to do a good tilling initially, like this piece off to my left, let me pan over a little bit. I still have some areas that the tiller didn't get into very well at all. So I think this last portion, I am going to have to till one more time. It was tilled up yesterday, but I noticed when I was raking over here, the tiller can only do so much. You know, you're going back and forth, and I'm going to give it one more till on this last like 15 feet, and that'll be the end of the tilling. The tiller will get put up and probably not get take it back out ever. unless I establish. There is an area where I'm considering putting in something else, and if I do that, I'll break the tiller out. But speaking of tillers, let me show you something. Now, when I make a major purchase, I try to do my research, but it's hard to tell through paid advertisements, which this is not a paid advertisement. But it's hard to tell who's being honest and who's just getting paid to push product. So I did as much as I could, and obviously I understood, a rear tine tiller is better than a front tine. I've used a front tine tiller, and it just beats the crap out of you. Try to bust through some of this, hard stuff that's just, the roots are so strong. Yeah, I'm pushing 50 years old, and I did not want to get the crap beat out of me. So, got this rear tine tiller. This thing is a beast. It was made by Troy Built. I think I spent around $800 for it. Worth every penny. This thing is amazing. The only feature that I don't like is the tires lock in, so you have to pull the pin, slide the tire in, put the pin back in to move it if it's not running. And then when you get to where you got to go, then you got to tip it. I mean, this thing's not light. You got to tip it to one side and get this cotter pin in the exact spot that it needs to go, and then do the other side. And it is just, I lost a cotter pin out here while I was tilling, and my husband had to go buy another one. I used a metal detector. I don't know what happened to that thing. But, yeah, that's the only feature that I think sucks. Like, just put a neutral gear on here and call it a day. But other than that, I've been extremely happy with this. It seems to be really fuel efficient. Like, I tilled all day on a tank of gas, and it still had probably a third of a tank of gas. So, very happy with this purchase. Now, the one thing I did notice when I was tilling, for those of you that have questioned this in the past, the areas where I had wood chips, when I tilled that up, the soil was black and breaking down to a very nice humus. And I noticed it's a very rich soil. So if you're considering using wood chips, I would recommend it. I mean, obviously the soil's just richer there. However, I'm concerned about nitrogen robbing going on in those areas where I had wood chips in the past that I just tilled under. Wood chips do good on top, not underneath the soil. So I will keep an eye on that, and I will let you know if I have any nitrogen robbing. And if so, I can fix that. Just throw down some alfalfa pellets. As it rains or as you water, they will soften up and kind of poof out like a marshmallow. And that's a very easy, slow-release nitrogen into your soil. And if you don't overdo it, you don't really have to worry about burning your plants. Now, this area that I'm telling you, I am going to have to amend, because let me show you how things grow over here. Now, as you can see, I mean, this is just, there's no even grass over here. This is just weeds, bare spots. I don't see any thistle over here, thank God, but I have been dealing with that in the other part. But yeah, this stuff, I mean, the soil's trying to do what it's trying to do. These weeds are growing here to try to protect the soil. So my hope is, if this part, and I don't think I'm going to till this part, I think this is just going to be wood chipped out. Yeah, maybe it'll be turned into a bed at some other time, but this is getting close to where the clay is, and that is my suspicion. The other thing I've been battling is black locust popping up everywhere. And so many people will tell you that this is really good for the soil. And I know it fixes nitrogen, but this stuff is so invasive. It is taking over everywhere. Let me show you what I mean. You see this wooded area behind me? Yeah. 2 years ago, we had it cleared. We had it plowed because we had to break up the soil, and I started planting some cover crop and things back there. Within 2 years, we have black locust that is 15, 20 feet tall. So we have to start all over again. And the thorns on black locust can be like 3-4 inches long and super sharp. It's like getting impaled medieval style when you're working with this stuff. I don't really want to take it all out. I mean, it obviously wants to grow there. But yeah, I would like to put an orchard in. Trees are obviously growing well there, but only 2 kinds of trees. The other kind of tree is sumac, which I hate. This stuff, I realize is probably good for erosion control or something. That's why it just plants itself by seeds. It plants itself through the roots, and it's so hard to get rid of. It stinks. The wood is not good for anything. You can't burn it. It's like a corky consistency. Just, it's horrible. And it stinks when you cut it. Well, pull it, it smells bad. And this stuff is everywhere. There's a couple of very mature trees that I've been after my husband for a few years to please cut them down, because that's a ton of seed that's getting out. But yeah, we really need to wage war on this back 2 acres if we want to expand at all. We really need parking for the nursery. I have just a few spots in the front, and being our first year, that's fine. We don't get that much traffic, but you know, as a business grows, at least I hope it does, between the flower farm and the nursery, we need parking. So there is an option of maybe moving this back and expanding the parking up front, or making a lane to go back there, which I don't know, because that would go through my pond. That's right on the property line, or a few feet away from the property line. There's not enough room for a car lane, I don't think. And the neighbors are cool, but they're not just gonna like, sure, drive on our property. So yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be something that we have to figure out over time. It does not have to be figured out today, however. And that is my next tip. There is a reason that our farmers are aging out, and a lot of people aren't picking up the mantle, and that is because this is hard work. In addition to it being hard work, there are a million tasks to be done. We started laying cardboard down because we need to put wood chips down. We get a wind, this is going to be all over the place. We also need to weed again, but I can't get distracted. Okay, the weeds, maybe they're inhibiting some growth, but I've got to get the plants in, because if the plants aren't in, the plants can't grow, and if the plants can't grow, people can't cut them and buy them. So it is very easy to get overwhelmed, and we've had to put in a lot of infrastructure. As a matter of fact, my husband still has not finished the fence around the flower farm. I'll have to give him a gentle nudge there. But yeah, there's just a million projects to do, especially when you're first getting started, setting up your infrastructure. If you have the time, I suggest setting up your infrastructure first, and then start farming. It'll prevent some of the overwhelm that happens. However, sometimes you don't know what you need until you need it, and that has been where we've been with this. We had to move a shed, so we couldn't put the fence up until the shed was moved. Well, the shed's been moved now, so now we can put the fence up. We're cleaning up an area that the family has used as a junk pile for years. I don't want this to look like Hillbilly Haven. I don't want to live in Hillbilly Heaven. But that's been a lot of work. We've had 3 dumpsters. I know my husband's taking loads to the scrapyard to get rid of some metal. I mean, it's amazing what people will hold on to. I might use this someday. This could be useful someday. Someday turns into forever, and it never goes away. And then it just, like, we're pulling stuff out of the ground. The ground has swallowed some of this stuff up. So we had to get that shed out of there, and there's miles of tubing, like water pipe, and just, I won't get into it all, but it's a mess. We're working on that too. So it's really easy to get overwhelmed when we have so many projects. We have 15 things started, and we're finishing one at a time. Finally got my pond finished. Now we just have to landscape around there. I was trying to save a buck in the beginning, and I bought a cheap liner, and I've paid for that because we have had to empty this thing a couple of times, patch holes. Finally, I spent the money and got the heavy duty EPDM liner. Thank God, it's like a rubber liner, very stretchy, harder to get holes in, and then now that's done. So, moved a ton of rock. That's all for now. This ground isn't going to rake or till itself or fertilize itself or weed itself. So until next time, keep growing strong.